And then, if I remember correctly,
get ahead of
yeah.
Thanos.
And if I remember correctly, the movie then okay, Spidey's up on the ship, and then Tony sends in the Iron Spider suit to help him breathe in space, but then immediately tries to send him back home. Stark, are you fucking nuts? That kid can help you.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He's a kid, and I think Tony has that,
kind of.
I never had a kid, but this kid's as close as I can get.
That
so
is
he
true.
cares for Peter in a way that I don't want to see him get hurt.
Yeah. And then,
by the way, David, you missed mentioning probably one of the funniest moments in that movie.
Did I? Oh, yeah, right! Get lost, Squidward!
Yeah, because in that movie, Ebony Maw, bro looked like Squidward, but without the nose.
Yeah. That was real funny.
Sounds like Voldemort, actually.
Yeah, he actually kind of did. And then after that, we meet the Guardians, who are in space doing stuff.
And they get Thor all over their windshield.
Yeah, they come across the massacre that happened with Thor. Thor explains to them what's going on with Thanos, and Gamora knows immediately what he's talking about, because she's the stepdaughter of Thanos.
Yep, and then, what's his face? Thor gets a new eye, which kind of defeats the whole badass short hair eye patch look.
I missed the eye patch. That looked cool.
I mean, yeah, the king of Asgard, his dad only had one eye, so he should have one eye too.
Yeah.
It should be a kingly rite of passage, like how the Skywalker rite of passage to get your right hand cut off.
Yeah. And so Thor explains to the Guardians what he needs to do, because Thanos currently already has the Space Stone and the Power Stone. The Mind Stone and the Time Stone are safe on Earth. Supposedly nobody knows where the Soul Stone is, even though we kind of know that somebody does. And the Reality Stone is on Nowhere, where he assumes Thanos is going. So what does Thor need to do? He needs to get a new weapon that was made in the same place as Hammer was made. I can't remember the name of it because it's a long, weird name. But it's like
weird Norsey name.
Yeah, it's like the name of a dying star or something. But it's really cool, and it's got a oddly giant Peter Dinklage.
Yep, the first and only time in his life that Peter Dinklage was taller than 3'5". Or wherever the hell his height is, I don't know. Point is, he wasn't short in this one.
Yeah, he was big, huge, way bigger than Hemsworth.
Yeah. He was like a dwarf, but he was huge.
Yeah, a giant dwarf, which is an oxymoron. So the Guardians go to Nowhere to look for Thanos to possibly try to stop him. Gamora tells Peter Quill, look, if Thanos gets me, you need to kill me. Like, what? Why? Because I know something he doesn't, and if he figures it out, the universe is screwed. And so, not exactly agreeing with it, he succumbs to her request. And when they find Thanos, supposedly it's easy peasy. Gamora slices his throat open with the little thing she got from him when she was a kid.
Little knife. Her first Space Army knife.
Her first little weapon as a little killer. So they think it's easy. So slice his neck open, that's it. Until it reveals he's already got the Reality Stone and they were tricking all of them. And then when it comes down to it, Peter Quill just can't do it. He can't shoot it. He doesn't want to do it. And Thanos is like, come on, do it. Do it, you pussy. He's totally doing come on, pussy, do it. Which, Peter Quill is a pussy, but let's not talk about that. And so Peter Quill tries to do it, but out comes Bubbles. And then Thanos gets away with Gamora.
Yep.
And then, tension. It's all crazy. And then,
oh yeah.
And then we find Vision and Scarlet Witch in Scotland, of all places.
Ah.
I know, they're just a few boroughs away. Of course, with the Mind Stone in his forehead, a lot of Thanos' children, I say that with air quotes, are coming after the stone. And then guess who comes to their aid?
Steve Rogers.
And Falcon and why am I forgetting her name?
Black Widow.
Yes, thank you. And then they have to go back to the Avengers facility, try to get some help, figure something out here. And they find Rhodey again, who's got robo leg thingies that help him walk again because he got paralyzed in Civil War, in case you didn't know.
Vision's fault, by the way.
Yeah, Vision's fault, although I'm more eager to blame Tony because he started the whole Civil War thing. And then they figure out that the only way they can be sure to make sure Thanos can't get the stone, Vision says, Scarlet Witch is the only one powerful enough to destroy it, and she's got to do that. But that would cost Vision's life.
And in case you didn't know, they were a thing. Scarlet Witch and Vision, they were a thing.
Well, anyone who's a comic book nerd knows that. They're married in the comics.
Wow.
Yeah.
That must have been one hell of a wedding night.
Yeah.
Vision, how are we supposed to make kids? Oh, fuck, I'm impotent.
Robo-dick. Okay. And so, Bruce Banner says, there may be a way to take out the stone and save Vision's life, but I can't do it. And so Steve Rogers says, I think I know someone who can. And then instantly, Wakanda!
Wakanda forever!
And then we meet up with T'Challa, who goes to get Bucky. It gives him a new arm. Because Bucky was in Wakanda, if you didn't know that. I'm forgetting. Yeah. I'm forgetting there could be people who haven't seen past Marvel movies. Because a lot of people don't know that these movies are interwoven.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Black Panther, then yeah, Bucky's in Wakanda.
If you haven't seen any Marvel movie previous to this one, you probably don't know what we're talking about.
Then why are you even on our channel? Yeah. Why'd you even click on the video?
Yeah, and why are you pulling down your pants? I'm just...
Whoa, dude, yeah. Damn.
Sorry. I had to make that joke. It came to my head. I saw an opportunity, and I seized it.
That's what she said.
Yep. And, so, if I remember correctly, after that, the movie goes to Tony Stark and Spider-Man up in the flying donut, because that's literally what it is.
Yep, and then Tony totally knights Peter as an Avenger.
Yes, that literally happened, and I squeaked when that happened. Like, yes, he deserves this! And so they saved Doctor Strange's ass from Ebony Crawl. I called him that just because. They go to Titan to try to lure Thanos in to try to catch him and get the gauntlet out of his hand.
Bad idea.
Yeah, well, it was a good idea until, well, we'll get to that. And when they get to Titan, they run into the Guardians. Well, when I say Guardians, I mean just Quill, Drax, and Mantis.
And they totally have a fist fight for a few minutes because they're all dumb and don't ask questions. They just shoot later.
Yeah. Shooting first, asking questions later.
In Rocket's case, quite literally.
Yes. Where, as I said, Thor goes to that dying star planet to find a new hammer or weapon or something, and Groot and Rocket go with him. And like Noah said, he gets a new eye. And Groot literally says, I'd wash that first. I had to sneak that out by putting it in my... And he was totally going to say asshole. And
yep. It made me cringe.
Made me cringe a little bit, too. And so the weapon that Thor is trying to get made is an axe, which is like the king's weapon of Asgard. And in theory, it could summon the Bifrost, which it actually does. And it's called Stormbreaker.
Which is remarkably similar to the weapon held by Kratos in the new God of War game.
And having Tony Stark and Doctor Strange run into the Guardians, they kind of work things out. They end up on Titan, and they try to settle on a plan to try to pin down Thanos and get the gauntlet out of him. When Doctor Strange uses the Time Stone and says, I looked forward in time and saw all the possible outcomes of the current coming conflict, he saw something like 14,605 of them. And Tony Stark says, how many did we win? And I was so sure he was going to say none. But then he says 1. They have 1 chance! Can you believe that? It's so nerve-wracking. If I had 1 chance to get something right, I know I'd screw it up.
Oh, yeah, big time. Especially with that many chances of doing it wrong.
Yeah, I know, right? And there's something I got kind of sidetracked. This movie has a lot of different places it goes. Thanos was still has Gamora. The thing that she knew that he didn't, which actually it turns out he does know, is that she's the only person who knows where the Soul Stone is. And if she doesn't tell him, he's going to kill Nebula. Which, of course, Gamora doesn't want that to happen, so she caves. Yeah. Tells him, they go to the planet, and as it turns out, the Stonekeeper is Red Skull. He's still alive. That's nuts. It's not the same actor as before, but whatever.
Guten Tag, I am the Red Skull, yeah. I look like Darth Maul because I'm wearing a black cloak, yeah.
Yeah. And when they get there, Red Skull basically says, you need to sacrifice something, the thing you love most, in order to get this stone. A soul.
And Gamora's all cocky like, ha, you love nothing.
And then he turns around and he's crying.